Our MAPI is an attempt for us to think differently as it relates to poverty reduction. And when I say us, the broader community. So our MAPI is the result of the community responding to a request to submit a proposal to New York State to think bigger and bolder as it relates to poverty. In 2015, or actually the latter months of 2014, the community actually wanted to scale up a program. So we wanted to scale up home visitation, and we were looking for $5 million for 5 years, $25 million essentially. And at that time, the governor, because he received a report from the mayor that was produced from the Area Community Foundation, and Ed Doherty was the primary author, and it really painted the picture that Rochester was one of the most impoverished cities in the U.S. So when the governor actually got wind of the information and saw the report, his charge was go back and think bigger and bolder as it relates to what Rochester can do to reduce poverty, provided we are the leading city in the U.S. in childhood poverty, the leading city in the U.S. as it relates to extreme poverty, and the leading city as it relates to comparable cities as it relates to overall poverty. So there was an opportunity for us to think bigger and bolder. Initially, we resisted. We said that's like curing world hunger and similar. We wanted to do something that was manageable, we felt, scalable, but more importantly, something that we felt we have the authority and the autonomy in which to do. So we pushed back. We said, you know, we really don't want to look at poverty as much as we want to look at this one program that contributes to poverty reduction. But it was the persistence of New York State that led us down this particular journey. Now, our MAPI was a placeholder for another name. So we didn't know what to call it, but we galvanized the broader community and stakeholders from all different sectors, as well as people impacted by poverty, and started the journey. We were calling the journey our MAPI, which was a placeholder because we wanted to make the point that this is poverty reduction within Rochester and Monroe County, but that wasn't intended to be the name. Our MAPI has been branded as the effort, but to be quite frank, it's not necessarily just focused on reducing poverty as much as it's also intending to help the number of families that are self-sufficient. There's such a gap between persons in poverty and persons who are self-sufficient that we don't want to lose the persons that are on the left side. If the right side of self-sufficiency was affluence, the left side is those persons who may not be in poverty as it relates to the federal definition, but they're not stable as it pertains to economic security. So our MAPI, the way I understand it, is a community coalition and a group of actors working together to identify specific strategies that organizations could take responsibility for executing to reduce poverty. So this is an opportunity for us to influence policy. It's an opportunity for us to influence funding priorities. It's an opportunity for us to help strengthen capacity within the non-for-profit sector. And it's an opportunity for us to look at those guiding principles that permeated many of the early work groups as it pertained to structural racism, trauma, community building, the guiding principles that we have espoused since the early formation of our MAPI, which we have one of the charts actually on the board.